Alright, hello, this is John Kohler from DiscountJuicers.com, and today I have a special video demonstration for you. It's of the Lequip Mini 110.5 is the model number. This is one of my favorite juicers, actually. This is one of the ones I use at my home. So today we're going to show you how to use the Lequip Mini 110.5, and we're going to juice some apples and celery. But first, I'd like to take a minute to tell you a little bit more about the Lequip Mini Juicer. The Lequip Mini Juicer is a centrifugal ejection style juicer. So this juicer style was made famous, maybe if you remember way back when, the Juice Man. So the Juice Man had a juicer, the Juice Man juicer, that worked really well. And that was basically a centrifugal ejection style juicer. And that's actually the first juicer I started with. So this juicer is basically really similar to that. Actually, it's probably a little bit better in my opinion than the old Juice Man 2 juicer. There's a couple reasons for this. First is, let me show you how this assembles and disassembles, is there's two latches. So there's one latch on this side and one latch on the back side. You have your clear top here that just comes off. And then this kind of pops up, and you have a one-piece, basically, strainer basket and cutting blade, and that's all stainless steel. And then you have a stainless steel bowl. So the stainless steel bowl makes it much easier to clean than any plastic bowl on, less expensive juicer. Even some of the juicers costing at least this much or more actually still have plastic bowls. But the stainless steel bowl makes it really easy to clean. It's going to stay a lot nicer, especially when you're juicing things like carrots and other things that have a nice carotenoid pigment colors that are going to stain, white colored plastic, for example. So to put this juicer together, it's really easy. There's a little indentation here on the front of the juicer, right here in the front, and you just need to line up that indentation with the actual spout of the juicer where the juice comes out and put it right on there. The next thing you're going to do is take the screen assembly and just put it right in there, and just kind of locks into place there. And then the last piece you need to do is you need to take the top here, and there's a little tab here. You can't really see it on the video there. There's a little tab that you need to line up with the little tab slot here right above the spout of the juicer, and you're going to line that up there, and if that's in place there correctly, basically then the latch arms come up, and the latch arms kind of fit into this little space here on this top piece that just kind of clip in. So the latch arms easily go up there and clip on. Okay, go ahead and put this down. Now, one of the problems that you may see with the Lequip Mini Juicer is that you get it all together and you turn it on and it doesn't come on. Well, we have had a few customers that this has happened to, and the reason for that is that this juicer actually has a built-in safety switch. So there's a built-in safety switch if the latch arms are not properly seated correctly. So say, for example, you put the latch arm like that, or you forget to put it on, and you turn it on, the juicer will not start. This is for safety, so you doesn't fly apart and hurt somebody, right? So make sure if you're having problems with the juicer not, turning on or, working correctly, the latch arms are properly assembled, okay? So the next thing you'll want to do is, what I like to do is you have the Pulp Catch bin, and what I like to do to make cleanup a lot easier is actually I take just a regular plastic bag that your produce came in, and you could line the Pulp Catch bin with the plastic bag. So you just line that in there. And this will make disposal of the pulp a lot easier. What I like to do with my pulp is actually put it in my worm compost bin or my regular compost bin, because I am an avid gardener and grow a lot of food actually that I juice. But so the compost or the pulp is really good for your garden. Also, we feed it to our dogs. So we have little Chihuahuas, and we mix it in the dog food, and it's great for them to eat, mixed up. So, then you want to make sure the Pulp Catch bin is correctly positioned behind the juicer, and you're going to turn the juicer on. And today I'm juicing celery. And when you're juicing celery, you want to just basically break off the celery leaves. They get really bitter. So I'm juicing celery and apples. And so what I like to do is actually use the celery as a pusher. So you can put an apple in there, use the celery kind of like push that down in there. You can use carrot or celery works good for a pusher. They're nice and, firm. Other things maybe not work as well. But you should only use the, celery or a carrot or some other kind of, produce to push down, or the actual pusher that comes with the juicer. Never stick your fingers down into the juicer. One of the questions I get is, can you use the core of the apples? The core of the apples contains some seeds and maybe a stem. Well, the thing I look for is on the bottom. You want to make sure there's no mold or fungus. It's like this white fuzzy stuff. If that's on there, you don't want to be juicing this. The other thing is that people are concerned about, the cyanide in the actual seeds of the apples. So I say, if you're juicing one apple here and there, it's not going to be a big issue. If you're juicing a lot of apples and a lot of seeds, that might be a problem. So you see, we only juiced a couple stalks of apples and celery here so far. And that's our glass of juice. So that happened really quick. What I like to do is once it's done, I'll usually tip it up to make sure all the juice pours out of the machine so it doesn't drip everywhere. And that's our glass of apple celery juice. To your health. The other thing I would like to point out is that this juicer is very easy to clean. So once you're done juicing, you basically snap off the latch arms and you'll have only a few pieces to clean. So for example, you'll clean the top piece, which I usually take my hand and I'll just basically brush out all the pulp and then put it in the Pulp Catch bin. And then the other parts are you'll clean the main bowl and the screen. So this just pulls up, and once again, so you have the main bowl and the screen. So that's 1, 2, 3 pieces, and the pusher is 4 pieces, and then this was lined, so you'll be easy to clean that. So it's really easy to use the Lequip Mini Model 110.5 juicing. It's one of my favorite juicers. I recommend it for juicing things like carrots, celery, cucumbers, apples, pears. It will juice any fruit or vegetable, and it's a good entry-level juicer if you just want to be able to juice fairly quickly, and it's fairly efficient as well. So if that's for you, go for the Lequip Mini. Be sure to check out our website, discountjuicers.com/YouTube, for our special promotions for our YouTube visitors.